Miss Combos with Laura Nusa.
Did Project Sekai kill Project Diva? So let's talk about that because I feel like this conversation is a lot more nuanced that people want to accept. I've also seen some hot takes from Project Sekai fans like this one and a Twitter thread that was like 6 or 7 tweets long. The user had to delete it because of all the backlash. And before I move on, I kind of come from the place where I am an older Vocaloid fan. I did play Project Diva and I also adore Project Sekai. So I just kind of want to provide some context so everybody can kind of understand where each party is coming from. So did Project Sekai kill Project Diva and did it ruin Vocaloid? No. In fact, I would argue that it's done a lot of great things to the Vocaloid community. I mean, it introduced Vocaloid to a brand new, younger demographic, which we do need new fans to get into Vocaloid to keep the fandom alive. And it's not even having new Vocaloid fans. Like, out of this group of people that have discovered Vocaloid through Project Sekai, you're gonna start getting new producers popping up, which we need that. Project Sekai has also brought out Vocaloid producers that were retired back into the Vocaloid producing game, which is very exciting. Also, Project Sekai did what Project Diva never could do, and that is include international Vocaloid producers in the game. I mean, we have songs by Circus P, we have songs by Crusher, we have Alex Tripsans with the first Spanish song in Project Sekai, so it definitely has done more for the international producers as well and just give them the appreciation that they rightly deserve. And I will say, the community of Vocaloid fans just feels more reinvigorated, it feels fresh again, it feels fun again, so it has done a lot of great things. But to play devil's advocate, it has also done some harm. And I mean, there's things that you can critique about it for sure. I already talked about this in another video, but when Project Sekai was first pitched and marketed, it was marketed as a Vocaloid rhythm game. Is the reality that? Sort of. It's like Vocaloid inspired, but the Vocaloids themselves don't play the main role. Their role is to support the original characters, which, I mean, we knew those were coming because they had marketed those, but we quickly learned that Project Sekai was not a one-to-one replacement for Project Diva. For fans of voice actors like myself, I mean, I love the original characters. I went in knowing that one of my favorite voice actors was going to be in the game, so of course his character became my favorite character, but you can't expect everyone who was a Vocaloid fan, loved Project Diva, and then, downloaded Project Sekai because of the Vocaloid aspect, and then just couldn't get into it. I can't blame them for not being able to get into the game. The original characters are not going to be for everyone. I also got the comment that in 2016, that's when Project Diva received their last big update. But I mean, yes, Project Diva was definitely neglected by Sega, but once they diverted their attention into launching Project Sekai and that becoming a huge hit, I could say that Project Sekai did lend a hand in the death of Project Diva. They're not fully responsible for it because ultimately it's Sega and Colorful Palette just, shifting their focus to, continue working on the more profitable franchise. But it did lend a hand. While we've gotten a lot of great Vocaloid music that has been commissioned by the game into Project Sekai, we can't forget about how inconsistent the tuning is in Project Sekai, especially for the covers. There's good, and then there's really bad tuning. And I do remember I'd been in one of Circus P's Project Sekai streams, and he had asked his audience if they were able to tell the difference between the tuning for covers in the game and what producers are actually able to do with the with the voice banks. And people in his chat were like, no, not really. When you can clearly tell the difference of the in-house Sega team tuning and then a professional, producer. The differences are very stark, even if you just look at the commission songs and comparing those to the covers. I feel like if the Project Sekai team did focus on learning how to tune the vocaloids and just, giving the covers the same amount of love and care as the producers do with their original songs, then maybe you wouldn't get as many critiques about the covers. As the older Vocaloid fan and Project Diva fans elitist, I would argue no. Just because there are a group of people that really just care about preserving the Vocaloid fandom and Vocaloid as an art form. So you do have to understand that they're trying to maintain this creative space like they were when they discovered Vocaloid. And I feel like Project Sekai fans should understand that, because a lot of Project Sekai fans are very, protective of Project Sekai. So very similar concept. They're just trying to protect and, encourage creativity for the Vocaloid side of the fandom. The Project Diva fans and also the older Vocaloid fandom need to be more understanding that the Project Sekai fans are very young and are still learning. That too. I think a little patience can go a long way if we're willing to, teach them the ropes and they're willing to listen and learn from us. I think that would be like the best. But yeah, let's just not press buttons and name call, because it really truly doesn't do anything. At the end of the day, Vocaloid, Project Diva, Project Sekai, everything's meant to be fun and creative and harbor community. We shouldn't be tearing down each other's communities, because what's the point? Hopefully all my yapping brought some perspective. Let me know in the comments how you feel. But yeah, I don't feel like Project Sekai killed Project Diva. It lent a hand. But ultimately it was Sega and Krypton just kind of neglecting that franchise to the point that it just fell out of their scope entirely, which is definitely sad. But I do feel like there's brand new life into the Vocaloid fandom, so there's more exciting things to look forward to in the future. I forgot to mention, for the Project Sekai fans, just let the Project Diva fans mourn the loss of that franchise, because it did last a really long time. As a reminder, mobile rhythm games and just mobile games in general do not last forever. I come from another mobile rhythm game that I used to be part of, spend my money and everything, and the servers completely shut down. That can very well happen to Project Sekai in the future. You could see voice actors retiring from their roles in Project Sekai. So cherish what you have at the moment, because it won't last forever.